Well, hello again. Long time no see. I'm John from Poor Man's Garage. This is video number 37. So, to see all the videos, you have to look up on YouTube V8 Miata build 001. That's the very first video I made. This is the 37th video that I've made. They're all there on YouTube. YouTube does want to skip them. So when you're watching my videos, you got to pay attention to what video you're currently watching now and what video comes next, or else YouTube will skip them and you don't know what's going on. But they're there. I have people say that they had a hard time finding the videos. So I'll tell you a little bit more about it. So you look up V8 Miata build 001. Now obviously the next one would be 002. And when you get to going from 9 to 10, you got to go from 9, you got to go 009. To C10, you got to go 010. So that's to get to 10. Obviously 11 is 011 all the way up to 37. And I started building a V8 Miata. It's M edition, 95 M edition V8 Miata, and I did everything myself. Starting with a Bill Mitchell aluminum block. That's an 8.2 deck height, means it's 200 thousandths deck height. That's what I started with, and the whole build of everything is in all the videos. So for you guys that don't want to watch all that, which it's a lot of time. There's hours and hours worth of videos if you want to see me build this V8 Miata. But if you're not interested in spending all that time watching all the videos, this video 37, I'm going to tell you about the car. So it's a 95 M edition Mazda Miata. The motor is a 302 aluminum block that I bored and stroked to 364 cubic inches. It's a C4 transmission, so it's an automatic. It's got a 5,000 stall converter. I'm running Hankook 225, 45, 15 tires. They're RS3s. That's the tires, and I run those tires on the street. I run them at the drag strip. I run them at the autocross. I do everything with those tires. They're the cheapest tire, best tire that I've found for myself, and I've tried many tires. The gear is a 246 gear. So I'm cruising down the highway 75 mile an hour, and the automatic about 2,700 RPMs at 75 mile an hour. It's a very high gear. The rear end is an Auburn Detroit True Track is what it is. Anyways, the rest of the information on the car is in all the builds. So this engine, I've dynoed it several times at an engine dyno. I'm going to give you the numbers on it. This 302 that's been bored and stroked to 364 makes 575 horsepower on the engine dyno at 7,300, 440 foot-pounds of torque at 52. Now, my 0 to 60s on the street is the best I've ever got out of the car. This is on the street, is 0 to 60 in 3.2. The average is about 3.4. So it goes 0 to 60 in 3.4. Best I ever had is 3.2. The car is capable of going 3.2 or better, but the traction on an 8-inch tire is pretty tough. But anyways, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you a little bit of the car, what the car looks like, and then I have a G-Tech. I'll show you the G-Tech, and I got a GoPro, so I'm going to take the GoPro, copy the G-Tech, the video on the G-Tech, when I take it down to my local 8th mile track. And I'm going to video that, and you'll see what the car does in the 8th mile. See what it does 0 to 60 in the 8th mile. Now remember that being on the street and on the drag strip is different because they glue the drag strip, so you get a lot better hookup on the drag strip. You'll never get the hookup on the street as you do the drag strip. There's no question about that. But like I said, 0 to 60s on the street, usually average about 3.3, 3.4. I have gotten a 3.2 out of it, but it's very rare. Anyways, let me show you what the car looks like, and and so on. So this is the car, in case you haven't seen it, and so as you can see, it's I'm using an automatic transmission, and there's my this is my G-Tech. That's what I use for my 0 to 60s. Gives me all the information, anyways. My GoPro. This is the motor. Instead of all the information about everything on this entire car is all on YouTube. This is the 37th video, and the motor has changed a little bit, but not much. So that's, anyways, that's what I'm working with. Okay, so I'm going to answer that question for you. Just how fast is the V8 Miata? We're going to find out here. Going down to Lancaster. You guys are all going to see it, and we'll see you soon. good morning. This is John from Poor Man's Garage. As you can see, we went to Lancaster. I just want to give you a little rundown on the car. This Mazda Miata, 95 Mazda Miata. What you seen last night at Lancaster, that is with the tires that are on it right now, the Hankook RS3s. That's no slicks were put on the car or anything like that. The timing currently is at 30 degrees. So it's a little down on power. I was going 0 to 60 and 3.48, I do believe was the G-Tech was coming up with. And our best 8th mile time was a 7:23, something like that. Yes, 7:23. I got the tickets here. I'm going to show you guys the tickets. There was a total of 4 runs. You guys only get to see 2 because my camera person was having some difficulties with the camera. That happens. But I just want to give you a little bit of rundown on the car. I was having problems with the fuel pressure. So that's why after the last run, the 7.2 run, I stepped up on the regulator. Didn't realize my regulator was down to 2 pounds. But when I didn't have no tools with me, so one of the guys at the track was nice enough to give me some tools. But I could only screw it up so high because we didn't have an Allen wrench to fit it, and I was trying to turn it by hand, and I was having difficulties anyways. So there's either something up with the regulator or there's something up with the regulator gauge. I don't know which one of the two, but the car to me felt like it was running out of fuel. Even running out of fuel and the timing being at 30 degrees, it still went 7.2. So, what I'm going to do with the car is, and because it's a liquid filled fuel pressure gauge, I think it might be giving me a faulty reading too. When the temperature goes from 80 degrees under the hood to 180 degrees, it might be that the liquid filled gauge is giving me a faulty reading. So what I'm going to do is pull out the liquid filled gauge, put a regular gauge in there, non-liquid filled gauge, and then bring the car up to temperature. I'm going to put some jet extensions on the secondaries. I'm going to bump my timing probably up to 33 where it belongs, 33, 34. Take it back to Lancaster again. We'll see what it does. And I'm also I keep my floats leveled down because when you're going around turns real hard, or you stop the car real hard, the engine wants to stall if the float bowls are high. But in the 8th mile, it seems like to me it's running the fuel. But, so anyways, that's where we're at. I'm going to show you the 10 tickets. Okay, this is my first run. Yeah, there's the first run. This is my second run. The first run was a around a 7:36 at 98 mile an hour. Second run, these runs you guys didn't get to see because my camera person was having difficulty. This ran 7:36 at 97 mile an hour. The third run ran a 7:39. That's the one I think you guys seen at 98 mile an hour. And the last runs were actually I found out my fuel pressure was at 2 pounds, and I managed to bump it up to like 4 pounds, and it ran a 7:23 at 99 mile an hour. So anyways, that's where we're at. Oh, I want to tell you about my blog. I have a blog spot too, and I have all the information about the car, being all the part numbers for the motor, all the part numbers for the car, everything's on the blog. The part numbers, the people who made the parts, the phone numbers, and the prices are all on the blog. I'll give you the blog spot. It's 575 HP V8 Miata.blogspot. So once again, it's 575 HP V8 Miata.blogspot. And I suppose if you, if you need to know part numbers or anything, it's all on there. It took me a long time to get that information and the prices and the part numbers and the phone numbers to put that stuff on there for you. That took me a while. And I suppose if you added it all up, you'd find out how much money that is into this car. I'd be afraid to say. I never added it up. I don't want to know, but that's it's on the blog spot anyways. If you guys are interested, and everything's there. Once again, we're bumped the timing from 30 degrees to 33 is where I'm going to put it. I got to find out what's going on with the fuel. So I might need it. It does. I don't have a return regulator on, so there's not a return regulator that returns the fuel to the gas tank. It all bulks up against the carburetor, so that's probably not a good thing. So it might possibility that I might have to put a return regulator on it. But when I get rid of the liquid fill gauge, put a regular gauge on there, and play around with the car a little bit, check the pressure when it's cold, warm the car up, bring it up to 180 degrees, then check the pressure again. So something might be going on with the regulator, that when the motor heats up, the regulator's doing something that it shouldn't. That's a possibility too. I don't know. I'm going to tell you more about it when I get into it. I'm not going to video that for you because that's all test and tune, and you guys, that'll bore you to death. Anyway, so but later on in the videos, I have a 4-wheel scale. I also have a set of Owens coilovers that we'll be putting on it. It's a custom spring rate and custom valving through V8 Roadsters is who helped me out with it. It's a 600 spring in the front, 400 spring in the rear. So that's what that's in the later on videos. That's gonna be my next videos. Is I'm gonna show you the scales, the 4-wheel scales that I bought, how to put the car up on the ramps without busting up the scales. People think that you can drive the car on the ramps under its own power. Don't do that. Don't even try it, because I guarantee you'll bust up them scales. You have to pull the car up on the scales with a come along is what I use. So anyways, we'll get into that later. I'll show you exactly how to do that without busting up scales. The scales are like over $2,000 scales, wireless. I'll show you more when we get into that. But anyways, that's where we're at. The car's got it's a 246 gear on street tires, and it ran a 7.2, and it goes 0 to 60 at this current time 3.48 seconds. 0 to 60 in 3.48 seconds. 7.2s in the 8th mile on street tires with a 246 gear. That's pretty impressive. Anyways, I think it'll go faster. How much faster it's going to go, I don't know. We'll find out a little later. Anyways, we'll see you soon.